It began with a crackling, urgent distress call. The year was 1947, and a series of ships traveling through the Malacca Strait, one of the busiest sea routes in the world, intercepted a strange and fragmented SOS signal. A trembling voice came through the static. "All officers, including the captain, are dead, lying in chart room and bridge, possibly whole crew dead." There was a pause, then one final chilling transmission. "I die." Silence followed, and then nothing. The message was traced to a Dutch freighter called the SS Orang Medan, a ship that officially didn't even exist on paper. Intrigued and disturbed, the nearest ship, an American merchant vessel named the Silver Star, diverted its course to locate the Orang Medan. What they found would haunt every sailor who witnessed it for the rest of their lives. The Orang Medan was drifting aimlessly in calm seas. There was no sign of damage, no sign of life. When the rescue team boarded, the first thing they noticed was the silence. Deep, suffocating, absolute. And then came the bodies, dozens of them. The entire crew was dead, sprawled across the decks, their faces frozen in terror, their eyes wide open, mouths agape, as if they had seen something no human should. Some were lying on their backs, hands clawing at the air. Others were curled up as if trying to shield themselves from an unseen force. Strangely, there were no visible injuries, no blood, no wounds, no signs of a fight. Even the ship's dog was dead, mid-snarl, as if it had died growling at something it couldn't escape. In the boiler room, the temperature was unbearably cold, despite the tropical weather outside. The radio operator was slumped over his equipment, fingers still resting on the Morse key, as if death had taken him mid-transmission. There were no survivors, no signs of a struggle, and no explanation. Before the Silver Star crew could tow the ship back to port for investigation, smoke began to pour from the lower decks. Within minutes, the Orang Medan exploded, fire ripping through the hull and tearing the vessel apart. The blast was so powerful that it sank almost instantly, taking all evidence with it to the bottom of the sea. To this day, no one knows exactly what killed the crew of the SS Orang Medan. Some believe it was a leak of toxic chemicals, possibly nerve gas or illegal cargo. Others think it was a supernatural event, something that frightened the crew so deeply it stopped their hearts. The official records never confirmed the ship's existence. No registration, no ownership. It's as if the Orang Medan was never real, and yet dozens of witnesses swear they saw it with their own eyes. What makes this story so terrifying isn't just the mystery, it's the silence that followed, the unanswered questions, the lack of any real investigation. A ship full of men dies suddenly, violently, without a trace, and then it explodes before anyone can find out why. Whatever happened aboard the SS Orang Medan that night, one thing is clear: the sea holds its secrets, and some of them are meant to stay buried. It was Christmas Eve, 1945, in Fayetteville, West Virginia. The Sauter family home was full of life. George and Jenny Sauter, Italian immigrants, had 9 of their 10 children at home that night. There were gifts under the tree, laughter in the air, and the smell of dinner still lingered. By midnight, most of the kids were asleep upstairs. Jenny went to bed, and George stayed up a little longer. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Then, around 1 a.m., Jenny was jolted awake by a strange noise, a loud bang on the roof, followed by a rolling sound. She waited. Silence. Then she drifted back to sleep. Half an hour later, thick smoke began pouring into the bedroom. The house was on fire. Panic broke out. George, Jenny, and 4 of their children managed to escape. But 5 of their kids, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were trapped inside, or so they believed. George smashed windows, burning his hands trying to get back in. He climbed the outside wall, tried to reach the attic, but flames blocked every path. The phone lines were dead. His ladder was missing. The family's 2 trucks, which he planned to use to climb into the windows, wouldn't start, though both had worked the day before. In just 45 minutes, the house burned to the ground. Firefighters didn't arrive until 8 a.m., 7 hours after the blaze began. They searched the ashes, but found no bones, no remains at all, not even fragments. Experts said bodies would have left at least something behind, especially since the fire didn't burn hot enough or long enough to completely incinerate 5 skeletons. But there was nothing, no teeth, no skulls, nothing. The official report said the children had died in the fire, but the Sodders didn't believe it. Jenny conducted her own experiments, burning small animal bones in the oven. They never fully disappeared. She wrote to a local crematorium who confirmed her suspicions. Even after 2 hours at 2,000 degrees, bones remain. So where were the children? Then, the sightings began. A woman said she saw the missing kids peering out of a car window the morning after the fire. A hotel worker in Charleston claimed she saw 4 of the children with 2 men and 2 women of Italian appearance. She remembered how out of place the kids looked, and how the adults never let them speak. The Sodders put up a billboard with the children's photos along Route 16 and kept it there for over 30 years. They offered a $10,000 reward. Tips came in from all over the country. One man said he overheard a conversation about a fire set as revenge. Another claimed to have seen Martha in a convent in St. Louis. Years passed, but the mystery only deepened. In 1968, the family received a photograph in the mail. It was postmarked from Kentucky. No return address. Inside was a picture of a young man who looked eerily like their son Louis, now grown up. On the back were cryptic words: Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie. Lil boys, a 90132 or 35 inches. The FBI refused to get involved, calling it a local matter. Authorities closed the case, but the Sodders never stopped searching. George died in 1969. Jenny wore black for the rest of her life, mourning her lost children. When she passed in 1989, the case remained as cold as the morning their house burned to the ground. To this day, no one knows for certain what happened to those 5 children. Were they taken? Was the fire a cover-up? And why, all these years later, was there still no trace, not a bone, not a tooth, of 5 young souls who vanished into smoke